This is Caesar 4.28.1. Ships are scattered. Quite a long sentence here with quite a lot going on. Now this qui, when a sentence begins with a relative pronoun, it refers back up here to naves. It's always referring to something before it, and that's what it is there. And you can see plural, plural, feminine, feminine, good match. And if we were reading this in context, it'd be a lot easier to see. Okay, so that's like saying naves, and this cum actually should be starting here, but they have this convention that when you do begin a sentence with a relative, it begins with the relative and then you get the cum, even though technically the cum clause should be to the left of it. When these ships approached Britain, and you can see this is actually dative here, because of apropinquo, that takes a dative. Means to approach. You can see it's imperfect subjunctive. The rent there. And that's because of the cum clause here. This is one big cum clause. And we've got two verbs in it. This is also imperfect subjunctive. So lots of parallels. Parallels makes the language easier to read. When the ships were approaching Britain and were seen from the camp. So there's your circumstantial clause there. Get that out of the way. Tanta tempestas. Okay, this is nominative. So we've got a singular subject. We'll look for a singular verb. There it is, big V. Such a great storm suddenly arose. This is a deponent verb. That, okay, this is going to be the left side of the bracket here because we are starting a result clause, result, and that's because of tanta here. This is one of those keywords, tanta, that sets off a result. It was so great that as a result, let's see what the result is. Nulla. Okay. There's no noun going with that, but because this is feminine here, we know it means ship. It's just an assumption that a Roman would make. Hard for us to make. That no ship of them, none of them, was able to hold course. Once again, another imperfect subjunctive. You're quickly coming to see that the imperfect subjunctive is really the most common subjunctive. But instead, we're not finished with this purpose clause yet. Result. But instead, and then alii here, with alii there, these work together. In other words, some ships and others. Some ships some ships referentur, another imperfect subjunctive, quite a few in this sentence, were carried back to the place from which they had set out. All right, directional words here. To that place from which. To that place from which. Others, let's see. Here we go. Here's our verb down here. Imperfect subjunctive. Others were driven to the southern. It actually means lower, but on a Roman map that would be below. Southern is below. To the southern part of the island, which is nearer to the setting of the sun. In other words, west. Toward the setting of the sun. With great danger, ablative of manner here. That's a beauty. With great danger to themselves. using the reflexive adjective as a pronoun there, sui sibi say, referring back to the ships. Now, you can see this is just like cum laude, magno cum laude, summa cum laude, maxima cum laude. All those ablatives of manners, they have the preposition in between the adjective and the noun. That's the way they do it, and they like it that way. All right, so once again, your main verb really is up here, the storm coming up, and then this giant result clause will finally put our right-hand bracket down here. This is a big bracket. I'll kind of shade it in there. Starts all the way up here and goes all the way down to here.